For decades, Silicon Valley has had this pretty simple playbook. Find a gigantic problem and just throw an insane amount of money at it until you solve it. First, they did it with information, then with communication, basically wiring up the whole planet. But now, now the very same people who built our digital world have locked their sights on the biggest, most universal problem of all, death itself.
And really, this is the core idea that's driving this whole thing. The titans of tech are looking at aging not as some inevitable fact of life, but as a technical problem, a bug in our biological software. And if it's a bug, well, then it can be debugged, it can be patched, and maybe, just maybe, it can be fixed for good.
It's a wild shift in ambition, isn't it? Going from building social networks to literally trying to re-engineer the human body. So what's really going on here? Let's unpack exactly what's happening, what the science is, and what it could mean for every single one of us.
All right, so let's get into it. After completely dominating the digital world, these tech giants see mortality as the last unconquered market. But the motivation isn't just about money. For a lot of these founders, it's a deeply, deeply personal quest. They see aging as humanity's final frontier.
And this is not some fringe idea anymore. We're talking about $8 billion in funding this year alone. That tells you this is a serious, incredibly well-funded movement. This isn't about creating another photo-sharing app. This is about funding the fundamental science to build a brand new biological operating system for humanity.
And just look at the names behind this biological gold rush. You've got Jeff Bezos with his company Altos Labs, Google's super-secretive Calico project, Peter Thiel, Sam Altman. The people who literally architected our modern digital lives are now pouring their fortunes and their focus into this. Their deep pockets and tolerance for crazy risks mean they can fund these moonshot projects that traditional science would probably never touch.
Okay, so where is all this cash and brainpower actually going? Let's get into the science, and trust me, some of this stuff sounds like it's pulled straight from a sci-fi novel, but it is happening in real labs right now.
So the first major idea is often called the reset button. Using a technique that actually won a Nobel Prize, scientists think they can take an old, worn-out cell and basically tell it to become young again. And get this, in early animal studies, it's already shown the potential to do things like reverse vision loss and rejuvenate entire organs. It's wild.
The second big idea has an even cooler name, the zombie killer. See, as we get older, our bodies start to collect these damaged zombie cells. They refuse to die, and instead, they just hang around, spreading inflammation to all the healthy tissue around them. Senolytic therapies are being designed to literally hunt down these zombie cells and destroy them, potentially wiping out a huge cause of age-related diseases.
And this is a really, really important point behind both of these ideas. The immediate goal isn't necessarily to live to be 500 years old. It's to extend our health span. That's the number of years we live free from chronic disease. The idea is to make being 90 feel like being 50, not just tacking on more years of being sick and frail.
But let's say they pull it off. If these breakthroughs actually work, we immediately slam headfirst into a massive ethical problem. Is extending human life the greatest leap forward humanity will ever make, or is it the beginning of our deepest, most permanent form of inequality?
On one hand, the promise is just unbelievable. A world without Alzheimer's or cancer, a healthier, more productive population. But the price? Well, the price could be a society that's literally split by biology, a permanent class divide between the long-lived rich and the mortal poor. And what on earth happens to our systems of retirement and Social Security when 100 is the new 60?
And that gets you thinking about something even deeper, right? Does the fact that our time here is limited actually give our lives urgency, meaning, and value? If we suddenly remove that ultimate deadline, what do we lose in the process?
Okay. So we've talked about the wild sci-fi future and the deep philosophy. Let's pull back a bit and get real for a second. How close are we really? The truth is, the road from where we are now to that future is incredibly long and incredibly difficult.
Just look at this. This is the standard path for any new drug. It's a 10 to 15-year gauntlet of testing and approvals, and the vast majority of them, over 90%, fail somewhere along the way. So, when you're talking about a therapy for something as complicated as the entire aging process, well, the odds get even longer.
And on top of all that, there are some huge challenges. For one, regulators like the FDA don't even officially classify aging as a disease. And think about that. If it's not a disease, you can't get a drug approved to treat it. That regulatory hurdle alone is a massive roadblock to bringing any of these anti-aging therapies to the public.
So, while we're all waiting for this magic age reversal pill, the consensus among pretty much all the experts is crystal clear. The absolute best, most proven science we have for extending your health span today is still, well, it's the boring stuff. A good diet, getting some exercise, and making sure you get enough sleep.
But all right, let's go back to that thought experiment for a minute. Let's just assume they do it. They succeed. What does a world where a healthy 90-year-old is as common as a healthy 50-year-old is today actually look like? Because the changes to society would be absolutely staggering.
I mean, just think about it for a second. You wouldn't just have one career, you might have 3 or 4 totally different ones. Maybe your first career in bioengineering wraps up around age 70, which is just in time for you to go retrain as a deep space architect. A midlife crisis might not even hit until you're 150 years old. It completely redefines everything we think we know about the human experience.
So, that's the dream, right? That's the optimistic vision. A future where we've unlocked our full potential. A future that allows all the wisdom we gain over a very long life to be paired with a healthy, capable body for just as long.
But then there's the other possibility, the darker one. Are we actually building a world where the ultimate luxury, the one thing that has always been the great equalizer for everyone, finally gets a price tag? The investors have placed their bets. The scientists are hard at work in the lab. And for the rest of us, well, the race has officially begun.